Whitney Harding here inside the Digital Center, and we're going to talk about the NBA, the Cavs situation right now going into game five. It's a bleak situation. But first, the Mavs will have the first pick in the NBA draft this year. They won the lottery. Finally, some good news for Mavericks fans. But yeah, they won the lottery, which means they won the Cooper Flag lottery. So it looks like he will be headed to Dallas. There are definitely worse places to go. But the way this season has gone, maybe the Mavs have a way to mess this up. I don't know. But yes, the Mavs will have the first pick in the NBA draft. And now let's talk about the Cavs, who have really been struggling lately, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any easier because Donovan Mitchell did not play the second half of game four. He only had 12 points in that game. It sounds like he re-aggravated an ankle injury, had an MRI on Monday, and it sounds like re-aggravated an ankle injury according to ESPN NBA insider Shams Charania. So yeah, no idea yet if the Cavs will have Mitchell for game five. They definitely need him, and not just his production, but they need him and they need his presence, his physicality, his intelligence. He does so many things on the court, but clearly the points definitely would help. And it looks like Darius Garland is starting to kind of get back into rhythm. He was the only Cav to have more than 20 points in that just abysmal game four. But it looks like even though he is still battling that toe sprain, that Darius is starting to come back. One thing he said after the game that was really interesting was he talked first about the turnovers. I mean, normally the Cavs with their defense, they're the ones that try to turn people over. They're the ones that get points off turnovers. They have a very aggressive style of defense. The Pacers have been the ones being much more aggressive. The Cavs had 22 turnovers in game four. That's definitely not their style. That's not who, well, anybody really wants to be in the NBA, because the Pacers had 35 points off of those 22 turnovers. Here's what Darius Garland had to say about how from start to finish, that was a real story of the game.
Turnovers killed us. Start off with an early one, first possession of the game. I think that's what started that was like a snowball effect. 22 turnovers is not even like us. So we turn people over. So it was pretty different for us being on the opposite side of that. It was pushing us off our spot. They was more aggressive than us. They were being really physical. That's what they said that they were going to do coming into this game. And we had no answer for that in the first half. So.
And the first half was where things really got away from the Cavs. The Pacers had 80 points after the first two quarters. Just absolutely incredible. And another way that they did it was they were so physical. They just came out and they completely dominated not just the scoring, not just the stat sheets, but the absolute pace and style of the game. They forced Cleveland to play the way they wanted to play, and that was a huge part of the game. Here is Coach Atkinson about how he watched that really throw his team off.
They dominated with their force. They raised their game to another level, and we didn't match it. We talked about it. We knew it was coming. I don't know. I thought it was rebounding. Physicality. We were running our offense at the half court. They had us pushed out. Couldn't get to our spots. It was really kind of physical domination.
And you really saw that in the paint, because that's where the Cavs get a lot of points. But get this, Jared Allen only had 2 points, combined with 10 from Evan Mobley, 12 from those two guys in the paint. The Pacers had 58 total points in the paint to the Cavs 32. That's just not going to get it done. And you look at those two teams and you think that is where the Cavs should dominate. And yes, that is where the Cavs should dominate. So definitely Indiana just really setting the tone that they wanted to play in that game. And like Garland said, the Cavs couldn't catch up. It just got way out of hand too quickly. Now, Garland also talks about there are still more games to be played. 2 out of the last 3 games are going to be played at home. Now, of course, the Cavs now have to push this thing to 7 games. They're down 3-1. We've seen this before from this team. And here is Darius talking about that.
Anniversary last 3 years together with all of us just together. So this franchise done it before. So go out there with a chip on our shoulder and a lot of desperation. And that's what we have to do. We got to keep that in our mind and see where that goes.
And he's going to need some help. Like I said, he had 21 points, the only Cav to have 20 or more points in that last game. The Pacers had 3 20-point scores, including Obi Toppin off the bench. He had 20 points. The Cavs' depth has been their advantage all season long, and we have started to see that kind of slip away a bit in this series. Yes, there have been some injuries. I mean, game 3, they were missing 3 important players, but still, they have really leaned on depth. Donovan Mitchell shouldn't have to score 40 points a game for them to be in a game or win a game. So that depth is going to be crucial. They need to find it again, and they just kind of need to find who they are again. There's a reason they won as many games as they did in the regular season, but now it is win or go home the rest of the way for Cleveland. Game 5 in Cleveland will be tomorrow night as I'm recording this. I'm recording this on Monday, so Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Hopefully Cleveland can push this to a game 6, and they'll go back to Indiana. But the Pacers right now, they have just been playing out of their minds and look almost like a team of destiny. Cleveland's been there before, and maybe, hopefully, they can do it again. Again, we will see Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. But for now, I'm Whitney Harding, and we'll see you next time.